Hello, my friends. Welcome back. Today, I want to talk about guilty. Um, I, with all the respect that I have to anyone that would think differently, and you do hear a different understanding of guilty, of the process of guilty, and many people would think that there is a beneficial um, outcome out of that. I I tend to think differently, and I want to share today the way I think about guilty. So, if we think about the process of developing virtues, and that virtues are what we are invited to develop, they are that energy or set of actions resulted from that energy that will connect us or will lead us to happiness, then then you would conclude that guilt, feeling guilty, is not it's not that energy. So one way you're thinking is that why? Because this is a fundamentally a passive energy, right? So fundamentally, we we would think about guilty as being the result of three energy or three areas or non-virtues, that being self-judgment, self-condemnation, and self-punishment. So none of those energy um, are really virtues, are are really good thing for us. They result to that state of mind that that do not propel you to good actions, right? Now, if that's true, then one would think that guilty is not necessary for our evolution. However, if we think about it, then when we make mistakes, there is a invitation for us to repair that mistake. So, what would be a more perhaps virtuous process when we face our mistakes? Perhaps it would be first a sincere regret of the action committed, followed by what is called expiation. And expiation, from Latin, the if we break down the word, we have the x, the x, and which means extracting, and pia, which means purity. So it's really, expiation is really the process of extracting purity. In other words, is the process of developing virtue itself. And the third aspect is to repair. That's when we come to building up, if you will. Okay, so how different are those processes, and can we think about an example so we can very well understand the difference between guilt, feeling like that, and and that of repairing. Okay, so one example that we can think of, it's of those, for example, that committed a mistake, and because of the process of guiltness, feel sorry for themselves, feel that they are a terrible person, feel they do not perhaps even deserve to live, and punish themselves and their actions. All right. So one example in this planet that we have, it's Judas, right? So Judas, when he betrayed Jesus, and we all know that story. That's also why it's a very good and relatable. He loved Jesus. His intention was that when he betrayed Jesus, Jesus would show his power, and then finally Romans and everybody would bend, that was not following him, would bend their knees to his power. Now after he did that, and after Jesus is killed, he got into a process of guilty, and then he ended up taking up his life. Right? We all know that story. Okay, so this is one example. I mean, am I saying and inferring that guilty, it's only present, and it's every time is a process of that will lead to suicidal? No, I'm not suggesting that. Absolutely not. But that's one example. That could be one example. Okay, so how about the other one? The other one could be of Paul of Tarsus. So if we think about it, like when Paul, before he met Jesus, he was implementing the persecution of Christians, and he was the person that implemented. He was the person that it started all, of which later on he even himself became his own victim, or victim of that action, of that implementation, right? Which was picked up by other people. Okay, so but what happened to him when he met Jesus in the road to Damascus? That's very interesting. So I believe you all would know or remember that passage of the Bible, is that they say that it tells that he saw Jesus, and then he fell down blind, or he fell down, and then he turned to Jesus at that time, and recognizing him as a master, he says, okay, what do you want me to do? Right? So do you see how interesting that is? Because in that very moment, could he have done the same thing as Judas did, getting into a process of self-judgment, self-condemn himself, and then go ahead and self-punishment? In other words, in a process of guilty, he could, but he didn't. What he did then that lead him into this position and this understanding of asking, what do you want me to do? It's exactly the process of repairing. So that's the difference. One, it's an active energy towards the good. The other one, it's a passive energy towards good. Therefore, it's a non-virtue, according to the reflections that we did as well in the previous videos, right? So, does that make sense to you? Now, following this and to bring it to our life in a very practical sense. The question is, what of guiltness we still have in ourselves, right? So if we really think about it and be honest with ourselves, we'll be able to analyze it and see if there are instances, and what are those instances that when we see ourselves making a mistake, see ourselves doing something that we quite didn't want to do anymore, and how do we feel about it? Is there a feeling that oh no, I shouldn't do this. This is not right. Who am I? What I was thinking. What I was supposed to. I'm not supposed to be like that. I know better. Is that a process of guilt, or are we? Or can we have an approach that we put ourselves as an apprentice of life, recognizing that yes, we did the mistake. Yes, that is still part of us. But what do you want me to do? Life, situation, God, Jesus, however you want to call it. What do you want me to do? I hope you have a great week, and see you next time.